because Tasting History is another channel I think a lot of people have said I would like, so yeah. Oh, that's muted, my bad.
I love ketchup. I mean, I wouldn't put it on a steak because I'm not a psycho, but really, French fries are just a socially acceptable way for me to get ketchup to my mouth. But would I feel the same way if I was eating ketchup 250 years ago? Like with this 1787 recipe for white ketchup from England. Who knows? But thank you to HelloFresh for sponsoring my attempt to make it as I explore the history of ketchup. This time on Tasting History.
Interesting. All right. All right.
So, before we get started, I have an announcement, and it is a big one, so you're going to want to write this down. Next spring, I'm
trying to catch us up on ketchup.
Much anticipated
it's
Tasting History.
Galaxy Prime, no.
What a lovely cover. And it's actually already available.
No, stop that.
Online, and will be coming out on April 25th, 2023.
Oh, okay, so that means it's definitely out by now.
From Melosomos to Parmesan ice cream, and there will be new recipes that I haven't done here on the show yet. So I will put links in the description to where you can buy that.
At least I was vague.
And I will make sure to keep you updated as we get closer to the release date. But for now, let us focus on ketchup. Or is it catsup?
Ketchup? 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 Ketchup.
Now, as the debate over the spelling of ketchup rages on, there is one debate that is settled, and that is that ketchup has tomatoes, right? Well, maybe today, but not in the past.
Hey, Soulkeeper, how are you?
And this is just such a recipe.
I'm doing fine. We're just hanging out and vibing and watching stuff today.
It comes from the 6th edition of The Lady's Assistant.
Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well.
The table by Mrs. Charlotte Mason from 1787.
1787. Wow.
Take 1 quart of white wine, 1 pint of elder vinegar, and 1 quart of water. Half a pound of anchovies with their pickle. Half a pound of horseradish scraped. 1 ounce of shallots bruised. 1 ounce of white pepper bruised, 1 ounce of mace, 1/4 of an ounce of nutmegs cut in quarters.
That's a lot.
Boil all together till half is consumed.
That is a lot. Dark King, how are you? Hello, hello.
Bottle it for use. It is proper for any white sauce or to put into melted butter. A considerably well-written recipe, considering it's from the 18th century, but it doesn't.
Interesting. What is an anchovies pickle? I'm curious to know as well, Rich.
Working overtime to just try to catch up on videos. And so after a full now for this recipe, what you'll need is 1 quart or 1 liter of
I'm good. Life's gotten busy. What I find I relax. I've been keeping up with Twitter and YouTube, even though I can't make it to stream. Oh, it's appreciated. I thank you so much, Soulkeeper. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I hope he doesn't mean mace the weapon. No. Mace the spice. Not the weapon, the spice.
White wine, 2 cups or 475 milliliters of elderflower vinegar.
Elderflower? Whoa.
Easy to find, but you can get it online. I'll put a link to where I got mine, but you can also make your own if you have fresh elderflower.
I love that emote sentai. That's so good.
Vinegar in it, and in about 2 weeks, you'll have elderflower vinegar. 1 quart or 1 liter of water, a half pound or 225 grams of anchovies.
It's a lot of anchovies.
And these need to be salted or brined anchovies and not anchovies in oil because you actually need.
Hey, Dark Gold, what's going on? How are you, buddy? Welcome.
It's a lot of salt. A half pound or 200.
An anchovy to tickle your pickle.
1 ounce or 28 grams of shallots. 1 ounce or 28 grams of whole white pepper. 1 ounce or 28 grams of whole mace. By the way, that is a lot of mace.
That's a lot of mace. Wait a second. Holy moly. I would have used that much mace in anything. Jesus Christ, that's a lot. I've also been cooking a bit more. I made family some steak burgers for 4th of July. Nice. Oh, that sounds good. That sounds real good.
Grams of whole mace. By the way, that is a lot of mace. I use that amount of mace in like 20 recipes of
That is wild.
So this has now become one of the most expensive dishes that I've ever made, simply based on some of these ingredients. They're nuts.
That's crazy.
And 1/4 ounce or 7 grams of nutmeg cut into quarters. And that's a lot easier said than done.
How would you, yeah, what the hell?
Can be a tricky business because it's round.
I'm alive, I guess, then white middle-aged woman-ing, aka drinking wine while watching murder documentaries.
And the shallots,
very nice. Very nice.
Bit, but don't, like, the white pepper is a little different because
oh shoot, I just dropped something. Hold on. Chat, be right back. Hold on.
peppercorn. So I'm going to assume it's
I got
the
it.
same.
I got it. Oh,
He
God.
wants us to grind
Ah,
it,
no.
but not into a
Ah, now I
powder,
just
which
missed
makes
the-
sense, because later on we're going to strain
Blah, blah,
things,
blah, blah, blah,
so
blah. Okay,
that's what
we're
gonna
good.
do. Then take a
I had to
large pot and add
pick up
the
something I
anchovies,
dropped.
horseradish, shallots, pepper, mace, and nutmeg. Then pour in the white wine, the elderflower vinegar, and the water, and give everything a good stir.
What the
Then
fuck?
set it over high heat and bring it to a boil. So yeah, elephant in the room. This white ketchup ain't white. I'm thinking that the name either comes from the very many white ingredients that we put in, like the horseradish, the white wine, the elderflower, and the white pepper. Or it's because she says to add it to a white sauce. And so that's actually what I'm
That
going
was
to
about
do.
to say, yeah.
And I'm going to mix it into some bechamel. And I've already
Nice.
made this on the channel, so I'll put a link in the description to where I made that. But first, this needs to finish boiling. And this pot
Yeah,
of
dark gold.
boiling
No, you didn't
anchovies
stutter.
and
White
other
ketchup.
stuff
That's a thing. That's what we're witnessing right now.
First videos, and that was quick garum.
Oh, God.
And when I made that video, I was living in a little apartment and had a bunch of neighbors, so I couldn't make fermented fish sauce. Which
Oh,
is
no.
how garum is supposed to be made. But now I have a backyard, so I do plan on making actual fermented garum.
No.
The interesting thing is, this recipe
No,
for the
someone is gonna shoot this man while he's making garum. No, that is such a bad idea. The smell. Oh no. I said that and I meant it. No, I know, Rich, I know. Oh God, that smell is gonna be unbearable. Oh no.
fish that reminds me of the quick garum makes sense because it turns out ketchup got its start as fermented fish sauce.
Huh.
Now, while today's recipe put me in mind of garum, the ancient Roman fermented fish sauce, the fermented fish sauce that ketchup descends from comes from much further east, from Southeast Asia, where they still use a lot of fermented fish sauce.
Yep.
The oldest
I can
recipe comes from
listen
the-
as someone who grew up in a Filipino family. I can guarantee you, fish sauce makes its way into every goddamn recipe. Fish sauce makes its way into every goddamn recipe when you least expect it. When you least expect it.
From around 544, and it tells of a Han emperor.
That was some good
who chased
pronunciation.
these barbarians
Wow.
all the way to the sea. And when he got there, he smelled this interesting and very pungent aroma. He asked his emissary to go figure out what this was. And when the emissary came back, he said, "It is simply a fermented paste made from fish entrails. Take the intestine, stomach, and bladder of the yellow fish, shark, and mullet, and wash them well.
Huh.
Mix them with a moderate amount of salt and place them in a jar.
Okay.
Seal tightly
Yeah.
and incubate in the sun. It will be ready in 20 days in summer, 50 days in spring or fall, and 100 days in winter."
Oh my God.
Later, this type of fish sauce would proliferate throughout southern China, Vietnam, Malaysia, and down to Indonesia. And the word to describe it can
Yep.
change from language to language. One was kachap in an old dialect of Thai, or kicap in Malay. And at the time, these could refer to several types of soy sauce,
Yep.
some of which were made with fermented fish. Now, Dutch traders seemed to enjoy it and began shipping it back to Europe. And then in the late 17th century, British traders came into contact with the sauce as well. And by
That checks, okay.
1711, in an account
Yeah.
of the trade in India, the British trader Charles Lockyer said that soy comes in tubs from Japan, and the best ketchup from Tonkin. Yet good of both sorts are made and sold very cheap in China.
Interesting.
Soon after, versions of ketchup began appearing in recipes in many.
Thank you for that redeem,
cookbooks.
Perso.
The problem was, by that time, nobody really knew what was in the original sauce. And the dictionaries
Of course.
at the time didn't
Of course.
help at all, because they gave definitions such as a high East India sauce.
Right.
That being the entire definition from a slang dictionary from 1698. And if you are looking for a bit of a diversion later on, might I suggest thumbing through a new dictionary of the terms ancient and modern of the Canting Crew. It was supposedly written to catalog
All right.
the words that were being used at the time by London's more unsavory population.
Oh,
and
no.
it claims it's useful for all sorts of people, especially foreigners, to secure their money and preserve their lives. Its body
Okay.
and its narrative to a modern reader. So I'll put a link in the description to where you can read that online. But I digress. Now, with such a vague description for ketchup, it kind of left the recipe writers of England at a loss.
I was about to
And so
say,
they were
where-
forced
how would you even
start
begin to
figuring out what this
reverse engineer
sauce
this?
might be. And so lots of different recipes.
How in the
for
hell
both
would you even
ketchup
make an
and
reverse
soy
engineer
sauce
something like
start to
this?
pop up, none of which have any soy in them, and I don't think any of which are fermented. While some still do feature fish, others are as diverse as walnut ketchup, a favorite of Jane Austen, pudding ketchup, which was more of a sweet and spiced brandy, oyster ketchup, pickled mango, orange juice, onions, mussels, lobster, grapes, cranberries, cucumber, apples, liver, and rum, just to name a few. There was even one recipe which called for a gallon of strong stale beer to be added with the anchovies, ginger, shallots, and mushrooms.
That just sounds like a good time.
Mushrooms are actually what became the dominant ketchup of the 18th and early 19th century.
Okay, yeah, that checks, that checks.
Ketchups were actually likened to soy sauce, at least in its consistency. And sometimes it was actually called mushroom soy, and then sometimes it would be mushroom ketchup. They used the term interchangeably, neither of which had any soy. But one reason that
that's wild.
became so popular was that
I heard rum. I would love some rum right now. You're kidding me? Actually, no, I have some. What am I talking about? Wait, hold on.
That has not received the least damage. And it seems that mushroom ketchup was the last type of ketchup that was okay to put on steak. Because in William Kitchener's The Cook's Oracle, he begins the chapter on broiling with a poem that ends, "And for skill in such cookery, your credit will fetch up, if your broils are well seasoned with good mushroom ketchup." Just like the recipe today, it's not meant to be used as a condiment, but more as an ingredient.
Okay, sure, why not?
Sauces or gravy or
sure.
stock. Kitchener also includes one of my favorite puns about ketchup ever. He says that those who are for a superlative ketchup will continue the boiling till the mushroom juice is reduced to half the quantity.
Okay.
It may then be called double ketchup or dog stuff. Hilarious. And to make this wonderful
pun,
God, he has to change the way that he spells
amazing
ketchup all the rest of the way.
Amazing.
The cookbook. But it seems that that's okay.
What the hell?
I found over a dozen ways to spell ketchup in the 18th and 19th century.
Oh my God, really?
By 1831, that number had reduced to 3. Ketchup, catsup, or ketchup. These 3 words indicate a sauce of which the name can be pronounced by everybody, but spelled by nobody. In this book, the domestic chemist says that is only made with either mushrooms or walnuts. So, by 1831,
never seen ketchup with walnuts in it. What the fuck?
Is now a false ketchup, as are all of those other types of ketchup, including the tomato. Now, the first tomato ketchup recipes appear shortly after 1800.
The word ketchup is going to lose all its meaning to me at this point. Like, legitimately, it's going to lose all its meaning to me at this point. My God.
Love apples.
Love apples? I'm sorry, rewind!
Who prefers to call tomatoes love apples.
All right. Love apples. Understood. Alrighty then. TIL, a founding father fucked a tomato. Oh my God, this is wonderful. Bird, thank you for recommending me this channel, by the way. Jesus Christ. This is so good.
But his recipe, which had brandy and spices, was much more like a tomato sauce than anything that we would recognize as ketchup, and it didn't really take off. See, tomatoes were still coming into their own after centuries of Americans and Northern Europeans thinking that they were poisonous.
I do remember that, yes.
About in my video on tomatoes. And the reputation of
a lot of people thought tomatoes were poisonous back in the day. Like, a lot of people thought that.
It was made in a copper pot, typically, and the acidic tomato
would
have a chemical reaction with the copper that would become ever so slightly poisonous.
Yep.
Strike 1. Strike 2 came in the form of tomato ketchup's really short shelf life.
It was their dishware,
Other
yeah.
ketchups could last years on the shelf after bottling, but tomato ketchup could last maybe months before mold and yeast began to grow. Not a bad thing if you're making it at home and you're going to eat it in a few days.
I mean, the part that tomatoes are technically the same family as a nightshade. Also true.
Tomato ketchup,
also true.
And putting it on store shelves. So it's a bad thing when your product goes bad after a couple months, and even a worse thing when, to preserve it, you use benzoic and salicylic acid or even coal tar to help the color turn red. And in 1863,
well then, that'll do it.
Cautioned people to beware what is sold under the name of ketchups. many cases of debility and consumption come from eating such stuff. And another writer claimed that the tomato ketchup sold in stores was poor stuff made of dubious ingredients and the fruitful source of indigestion and other disorders of the stomach. And so bottled tomato ketchup earned a reputation for being filthy, decomposed, and putrid vegetable substances. Strike 3. Just when you thought tomato ketchup was out. And then a hero comes along. And that hero was Henry J. Heinz. Actually, he was not the only one to do this. There were several.
Yet another case of white people saying flavor's too spicy for them.
He's really not
shaking my goddamn head every time.
Very, very good at marketing.
Yep.
Now, Heinz actually got his start in the exciting world of horseradish, which, using his mother's own recipe, he bottled and sold. What made him different was that he bottled it in clear glass, and so he could tell his customers, look, I'm using clear glass, hence I have nothing to hide. His pitch worked, and the business called Heinz & Noble took off, and they started selling other things, including pickles and sauerkraut, incurring a lot of debt along the way, which was a bad thing when the panic of 1873 set in and all the creditors wanted their money back.
Welp.
Heinz & Noble went bust, but Heinz was not deterred. It took him a few years to get back up on his feet, but he did, and this time it was with his brother and his cousin. And they established the F&J Heinz Company. They brought back many of the old products, but also added tomato ketchup to the roster.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
Thanks, Galaxy.
Tomato ketchup really benefited from his whole, look, it's in a clear bottle, so we have nothing to hide shtick. And it was just a shtick, because actually, it had more apples than tomatoes in it, and it included all of those preservatives that the other guy's ketchup did. And it wasn't until an executive from Heinz attended the Pure Food and Drug Congress of 1904 that the company saw the writing on the wall and decided that they would be the first ones to get rid of all the preservatives. G.F. Mason, the head of the Heinz Research Laboratory, spent a long time trying to figure out a way to make a preservative-free ketchup that would hold, and with mixed results. But it had to happen, so eventually they released one that boasted, we do not use any benzoate of soda, any drug, any chemical, or any coloring or adulterant of any kind. Heinz new ketchup, even though it was quite a bit more expensive than any of his competitors, sold like gangbusters. And it led Heinz to become a strong proponent of the Pure Food and Drug Act of 1906. They also changed the recipe to include a lot more sugar, vinegar, and salt.
Jesus, Galaxy.
It stayed preserved for longer, and it also made it a lot thicker. And it gave us the flavor that we are acquainted with today when we say ketchup.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Supposedly, the ketchup exiting a classic glass Heinz bottle comes out at 0.028 miles per hour.
Who did the math on that? Wait, who the fuck did the math on that?
Heinz bottle comes out at 0.028.
Who? What the fuck? I wonder whatever happened to the coating MIT made once and makes ketchup not stick. Ketchup nerds. Yes, true. True. Homer Simpson voice. Nerd. That's an impressive amount of detail to go in. I'll be quite frank. That is an impressive amount of detail to go in. Holy shit.
Miles per hour. Oh, and that 57 that they use, the Heinz 57 varieties, yeah, it doesn't mean anything. See, he'd seen an advertisement for shoes, and they said, we have 21 styles, and he thought that that was catchy, just having a number associated with it, so he decided, I'll do the same thing, and put 57 varieties. Even though they had 57 varieties.
Marketing.
It was just really good marketing.
Really good marketing.
Really, that's what Heinz was good at, was the marketing. It was
the other day I did a lot of math to determine how many parrotlets in a trench coat I would need to buy by weight or volume, like 30 minutes of math for a bit. Oh my god. Bird.
So he thought it would make it stand out, and clearly it did, because now Heinz ketchup is the most popular ketchup in the world.
It really is.
And most people today spell ketchup with a K, as does the actual recipe that we're making today from 1787 for white ketchup, which is also really good marketing because the ketchup is not white. But regardless, once it's boiled down by half, strain it and let the liquid cool completely before putting it into a bottle. Now again, this is where you typically drink soy sauce by itself, You would put it in
1,615
something
parrotlets by
as a
volume,
ingredient to help with the flavor.
2,611
I'm going
parrotlets
to
by
do what
weight.
she suggests and put
My
it into
goodness.
bechamel sauce. And if you haven't seen that video on bechamel and the wonderful yet tragic story of Francois Batel, I will make sure that that
Oh
is
my
the video
God.
that pops up after this one. And here we are, white ketchup from 1787. Okay, so before I try the ketchup in the bechamel, I'm going to try it just by itself. It actually smells really good.
Interesting. Okay.
Sweet, which is weird because there's nothing in there that should make it sweet smelling. It's interesting.
This is bound to go bad.
It looks like it should be like water, but it's a little bit.
Huh.
Give it a shot.
Instant regret.
Oh, yeah, that is not.
Oh no.
Okay, besides the fact that it's super salty, it's like concentrated flavor. And I don't know what flavor. I really don't know what flavor, because I'm not tasting any specific flavor. It seems all of it.
Oh my God.
It's really tangy though. That's what I'm getting now. Wow. Blew out my buds.
Oops, all flavors, exactly.
The white sauce with a little bit mixed in. It's just a very little bit, maybe like a half a teaspoon.
It's about to say that's concentrated, like.
Now that is good.
Interesting.
That's how it's supposed to be eaten. As she said, that is how it's supposed to be eaten. So when it's mixed with something kind of creamy and neutral, it adds this tangy zest, making it almost like a tartar sauce.
Okay.
With like a weird umami, very savory note to it. That's very interesting, and I actually like it.
That's
I'm curious
not
what it tastes
bad.
like with a French fry, because that is how you're supposed to eat ketchup.
Okay.
Ooh, that's kind of nice. So while I'm not going to be swapping
Interesting.
it out for my beloved tomato ketchup, I do think it's pretty good. Granted, I wouldn't make it again. It's not good enough to go to all the trouble and the expense. It's very,
It's about to say that's a lot of really expensive
but
ingredients.
It's a fun experiment. So make sure to go check out Tasting
Interesting.
History.